other things. All right. Hi, everyone, and good morning. Coffee chat here, and I'm having an echo. Okay. All right. So let's wait for people to come in. So, yes, good morning. If you are joining us, how come I am not seeing comments? Okay. If you are joining us, the most important question of the morning is what is in your cup? What is in your mug?
Did you tweet it out?
Yes, I did.
Well, I have a bottle of cola.
Okay. Nice. Okay, let me go ahead and tweet it out again. It wasn't letting me put the going live thing. So I don't know
Yeah,
if it's...
I think YouTube's been acting up a lot because a lot of streams aren't showing up
Yeah.
in people's YouTube newsfeed. I think Midnight's Edge had problems with that.
Okay, let's try this again. Sorry, we did something wrong. I'm trying to retweet it out. What the hell? All right, let's copy link. I don't know if anybody's in the chat just yet, but if you guys are, please say hello and share with us what's in your mug. It looks like no one's here yet.
Maybe they got mugged.
Maybe. Let's see here. There we go. Whoops, I did that wrong. I'll do it again. Live now. I have an echo, huh?
No,
Mm,
I don't hear any echo.
okay.
Well, people are popping in the chat.
Oh, are they coming in now?
Jefferson W. and Mr. Dystopian.
Hello. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. I am wearing my glasses today, so I think I froze up.
Maybe now you will see reason.
Oh, goodness gracious. Am I frozen on the screen?
Nope.
Oh, on my end, I'm frozen. This is weird. Hi. This is really, really weird. I'm on my 5G, which is the one I connect to while everybody else in the house uses regular internet, and not everybody's awake right now either. That's crazy.
We have Mark Krell joining us from Germany, I believe. And,
yes. Hello, Mar. How are you doing? Good morning. Okay, so what's in your coffee or what's in your mug or what are you drinking? What are you joining us with today? That is the most important question of the morning before we begin, as we let everybody trail and trickle in. Yes, YouTube and even StreamYard has been acting up lately. And so sometimes there are successful streams and sometimes there are not. So we just go with the flow. Hi, that guy. How are you doing? And Subhuman 84. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. So today's topic, we are going to talk about book 1, Paradise Snare of the Han Solo Trilogy. I was debating on which bit of news or interesting stuff I wanted to give us. There's one where it says Rogue One, a Jen's origin story idea was deemed too similar to Rey's, or something to laugh and maybe cringe at. And this is from StarWars.com. 5 reasons why Chewbacca is the best friend in the galaxy. So we'll see.
Jyn Erso is too close to Rey.
Yeah.
Well, they copied Jan Ors to the point.
Yeah.
It's, almost identical. Everything.
Yeah, I don't know what they are thinking. So maybe we'll go into that just so that we can discuss it, since in my mind, the dark forces have been, I'm just happy to have the books. And so Sharon's Hell, Stig knows this, and if you guys watch the streams I've been on and I shared these, I'm finally able to get Dark Forces. I just need to get the last book. I've read them when they came out, but I never collected them. So 1 and 2 of the trilogy. So maybe that'll be a good thing to expand on. So let's see who's all jumping in here. We have Matt G. Hi. Razvin. Hi. And Nerd Cookies. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Yep, Cassian Andor equal Kyle Katarn. And yes, and I know Stig has been
Uh,
very adamant
I
about, the
kind
comparison.
of, kind of. He has the look, but
Mhm.
his character is different.
Yeah.
But Jin Urso is basically Jan Ors given the role of Kyle Katarn,
Hmm.
because you can't have white male heroes anymore, right?
Yeah. Oh, Outlaw here. This is funny. And we will get to that too as well. And maybe I'll pull up a picture of them. I said Outlaw. Hey OG, I always had trouble visualizing those elephant leg huts in this trilogy. And they have that pheromone pouch that resonates that sound out that basically entrances the followers, and then they have those little tiny hands that are underneath them too. So maybe I'll pull up a picture of that as well, so we could share those that species here. So yeah, Matt G. All right, so we have
Uh,
11 here. So please press the like button and share on Twitter, since this, like I said, during these times right now, everybody's on the internet, everything's running slow, hardly anything's being ran business wise, and so it's hard to get the news out about our streams. So yeah.
yeah, tweet it out, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Razvan has a good point that I missed.
Okay.
Uh, Shimrut from Rogue One
Yeah,
is he's blind, Force user, but the villain in the Jedi Knight one is also blind, a blind Inquisitor.
that's right. Doesn't he have that tattoos on his face too, or his face is marked up something too, right?
He has kind of like a thin visor across his eyes.
That's it too. Yes, I know who
Yeah,
you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
I didn't catch that until now. So points to Razvan.
There you go. See? All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the article, since we're already talking about this, so that we can kind of, discuss this further, since we're already in this discussion here. And we'll just leave the 5 reasons why Chewbacca is the galaxy's best friend, because yes, there are some cringe parts in there that we can laugh and compare as well. But we'll go ahead and discuss this Rogue One Jyn Erso story. So let me go ahead and share and look at my new layout here. So I hope you guys like it. I'm moving on up.
I can actually send you something that you could use to back up this article with.
Okay, so go ahead and share it in the chats too as well. I'm gonna go ahead and open.
No, it's a
Let's
picture
take
thing.
a look. Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
send it when I find it, which
When
could
you
take a
find
half
it.
an hour.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let me get this off the screen here. I'm gonna go ahead and make it bigger. Now we know that, Screen Rats does like cringe articles at times as well. Sometimes it can be spot on, sometimes they're half, but it's just a good laugh as well. So Rogue One, a Jyn origin story idea was deemed too similar to Rey's. Well, we're look at this. Okay, look at their faces and look at their color of their hair and everything. So, they want female protagonists, and they're going to their stereotypical type character right now. So
English brunette, same as in the Solo movie, actually.
exactly. So Felicity Jones, Jyn Erso, initially was written as a scavenger type, but because it's too similar to Daisy Ridley Ray's, that sounds so funny, Rogue One had to change it. So she couldn't be a scavenger. Well, maybe they should have, I don't know. So they just went ahead and went with Or's story for her then, because the original way they wanted to write her sounded too much like Ray. All right, so let's go ahead and dig into this. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Jyn's Felicity Jones had similar backstory to Rey in an early version of the script, so that they changed it. The first anthology film from the space set franchise came out in 2016, a year after the successful renaissance of Star Wars via J.J. Abrams' Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Its narrative, however, brought fans back to the original trilogy timeline filled with in some important story gaps. Directed by Gareth Edwards, Rogue One explained how the rebellion got a hold of the plans from the first Death Star. That was already explained a long time ago, so it's not nothing new. First Death Star, which it was instrumental to its destruction. Rebel fighter Cassian Andor led the team in securing the plans of the galactic superweapon built by the evil empire in the hope of finding a way to destroy it. He was joined by a string of unusual allies, including Jin, whose father, Galen Erso, was responsible for the Death Star's design, as well as its fatal flaw that the rebellion took advantage of in A New Hope. By the end of the movie, all members of the ragtag team died for a good cause. There's nothing similar to Ray. Ray never died for a good cause. I wish he would have died. Sorry, but that's just how I feel. Each member of Rogue One's Suicide Squad came from very different backgrounds. While the film shed a light on their respective story, Jin's story was important in the movie's overall narrative. While she was always going to have links to Galen, the filmmaker had to establish that she's been doing what she's been doing before she encountered the rebellion. Writer Chris Weitz, I hope I said that right, Weitz, reveals during Synfix watch along that they tinkered on the possibility that she's a scavenger, but since it was too similar to the Star Wars sequel trilogy's Rey, they had to change it. How many scoundrels have we known in Star Wars film that is similar to Han Solo, but yet these characters were still amazing? Think about that. At one point, Jen was already a rebel soldier. We toyed with various other possibilities that she was a deserter, she was a Rey-like scavenger, but obviously you can't do that once you learn what the other hand of the Star Wars universe is doing. The similarities between Rey and Jin were basis of many theories back when fans didn't know much about the character yet. Both played by British actresses who look similar. That's what we were just talking about. Some posted, I can't even read that word. They might be related. Posted? I don't know. Like mother and daughter, there was a bit murky given the timeline, but there were people who were convinced that this would be the case, considering that everyone was obsessed with lineage and character connections in Star Wars. Had Rogue One filmmakers pushed through with a scavenger origin for Jen, it would have only fueled those speculations. Jen's fate at the end of Rogue One's story, a Star Wars story, diminished the chances of her factoring in other projects set after the events of the movie, unless its flashback scenes are a recorded message cameo. But fans will get to spend more time with Luna Cassian Andors, who's headlining an upcoming Disney Plus Star Wars prequel series along Ellen Tudyk. So that's the storyline there about that. So that's what we came up with, or they came up with the story. So let's go ahead and check the chat real quick, and then we'll discuss it further. And good morning, Stig. I'm glad to have you here with us.
Well, thank you. Always happy to be on.
All right. So let's see here. No source material. Matt G. Yeah, the Mariluca species. Yes. Oh my God, it's OG. Oh, oh my God, it's OG Battlestar Galactic gal. It's too early for that. I can't even read right now. I need my coffee. Hold on. And I'm wearing my glasses today. Look at that. I told you I was a nerd. Okay. There we go. I more think Bevel, yep, equal critic. We'll get to that. We'll discuss like the similarity between characters and everybody in Dark Forces as well. Wasn't Kira Solo derived from Kira? Yeah, and we'll get to that as well. Kind of, it's they sound similar, but their story is not the same. So, hi, how you doing, Grubnob? Let's see here. Let's see. I don't know why I'm echoing on my part. So am I echoing on your part, Stig?
No, it's completely fine.
All right. It wasn't echoing last night, and everything's just set up the same from last night. So that's weird.
It's all in your head.
It's all in my head. It's echoing in my head. I don't know. Hello, my nerdy home. How are you doing, Steph? Good morning.
Hi,
All right.
Stephanie.
Yes. Morning. Hi, Soul Assassin. All right. Raise your mug to that. All right.
Well, I tweeted you the stuff,
Okay,
uh,
I'll pull it up.
so it should show up on your, I don't know, Twitter, in your Twitter feed. Not,
Okay, so it's on my feed then, it's not in the messenger?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll go right there here pretty quick. So that guy, OG Stars, not to derail the conversation, but I feel like Ichibaka had a great documentary come out about Kathleen Kennedy's agenda on YouTube. Yeah, I watched the whole thing. Once it came up, I clicked on it and watched the whole thing. I did comment on his YouTube on that video. It was not a huge response. I just praised him for his work because if you guys have not seen it, Ichibaka did a great, I guess you could say, documentary about Kathleen Kennedy's agenda. So maybe I'll pull that link up before we're done here and um, check it out. Or at least I'll share the link to you guys so you guys can go check it out. It's worth a watch. It's long, but it's worth a watch because there's a lot of information that he dug up and put out there according to like the Forces Female and Kathleen Kennedy's agenda and how Filoni's even falling into that as well.
Oh, Filoni just tells people what they want to hear. He did the same with George Lucas. He was sucking
Yeah.
up. Now he's sucking up to Kathleen Kennedy's vision.
Yeah. I mean, why bite the hand that feeds you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or other the hand that does other things.
Who knows? I'm not going there. All right. Will Gentry, oh my word, you're talking about Star Wars. This is such a shock. I would never have expected it. Oh my God. Yes, I know, right? Right. It's 12:15 for me. No more coffee. I have coffee throughout the day sometimes. So I mean, but hey, everybody has their drinks, right? Don't drink from China cups. They may be infected. It's not one. It's from this mug is from Starbucks. So I raised my Schweppes kindly glass. It's got electrolytes. I mean, okay. Hi, how you doing? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look real quick. So go ahead, Stig, go ahead and tell us what you think about that article and your view and maybe similarities to characters that you have noticed that maybe you haven't shared or you just want to touch bases on.
No, they're full of shit.
That's simple.
Yeah, the whole thing was ripped off by from Dark Forces, the Cult Katarn and Janor story.
Yeah.
It's plain as day, and they just edited some plot points and stuff. Right? There's no Dark Troopers in it, but
Yeah.
they did have Black Stormtroopers, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, so far they've only cast brown-haired English ladies, I think, for the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Even Gina Carano in the Mandalorian is brunette.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You can compare them.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and
They
all right.
actually race whitewashed an Asian lady, and then they blame the fans. The fans not liking Rose Tico on racism. Yet the fans wanted Jan Ors, who is Asian.
Mm-hmm.
Disney whitewashed her.
Yeah, and my conclusion this with the Asian thing because they even got rid of an Asian voice actor from the
Yeah,
Clone Wars. And then when they did Rose Tico, she's basically a stereotype of an Asian. And stereotypes usually are just like the prejudice view of someone that you're like, oh, they must all be like that kind of thing. And so it's not a positive thing. Stereotypes are hardly ever a positive thing. So let's look at this real quick. So we have Jen Ors and Jen Urso. So take a look at the names as well. And it's very similar. They are very similar. So
yeah.
So here it is, Jen Orr's young human female, light skinned with neck length brown or with neck length brown hair, tomboyish military clothing, red fabric on the inside, soldier, pilot, former criminal. Her father was a scientist at a very young age. She would not let the empire intimidate her into submission. Legend among the rebellion, even though she has never wore an alliance uniform. Intelligence operative who helped the alliance to restore the republic prior to the events of A New Hope and became one of their most trusted operatives. Jan Ors, recruited by Kyle Katarn, and together they worked on missions for the Alliance by infiltrating Imperial intelligence, performing sabotage, and covert extractions. Jan met with Mon Mothma and Kyle Katarn, where they were given the mission to capture the plans for the Death Star in order to figure out how to destroy it. Okay, so that's from the original Lord Jan Ors.
Yeah.
So
And the other thing says the exact same thing, except for it's Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso.
yeah, so if you guys take a look at this, and it's posted on my Twitter, so you guys can share that. I know, it's been a while since Rogue One had came out and stuff, but that article was interesting because, they were like, oh, well, her character arc is too much like Rey, so we got to change that. So why don't we just copy and paste Jan Ors to her
Yeah.
story? So yeah.
And if you want those stories, you can get the whole story from the video games on GOG, which
Mm-hmm.
usually has a sale, and all of the games work perfectly.
Yeah, and then there's books, and isn't there comics too as well?
Uh, Jan Ors and Kyle Katarn are not in the comics much.
Okay, I thought so. But the story, but the stories about how the plans and all that were basically all fleshed out with their story, Dark Forces through the games, all that. So it's all their original lore on how the stories were, how the Death Star plans were gathered. And someone had told me just the other day, well, but didn't they contradict the original lore by having 3 different stories about how they got the Death Star plans? And I'm like, not really, because those stories were basically, when you compile the whole story about the Death Star plans being captured, there were multiple plans because the Empire did not want, we're trying to safeguard them, and so that's why they had to go back and get the multiple plans to make sure they had everything. So yeah.
Will Gentry is asking where she's from. Well, she's from the Dark Forces storyline from the old EU. They just ripped the whole thing off. Jan Ors, Jyn Erso. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it.
Yeah.
They're denying it though, but they're not trying to hide it.
Yeah, they're not trying to hide it, because obviously in Rogue One, the stories are very similar and very, very similar.
Yeah. Look at that. Not Jyn Erso at all.
Yep. And and not Kyle Katarn, even though Jyn is more closely related, copied than Kyle Katarn. But you can still see that in there. So
Well, they basically got rid of Katarn,
mm-hmm.
gave his accomplishments to Jan Ors, and then they renamed her Jyn Erso. That's it. Yeah. No effort involved. It's just copy and paste.
Yeah. And basically, I guess we're talking about the same timeline, because we're going to get to this book here. And so, this is basically in the same timeline as well. Like, it's running, Hound Story is running, alongside their story, but his path is different, how he gets there, than these guys as well. So I guess that's the time frame we're talking about, pre A New Hope. Hi, Kashyyyk Queen. How you doing, darling? Good morning. All right, let's see. I got the sun shining on the screen right here. Let me adjust this a little bit. Okay. All right, my chair is so friggin' squeaky, it sucks. Okay, Gina Carano, Caro, Cynthia Dune is is her character full name. Cynthia is very similar with Cintis Vel, Boba Fett's wife. They lived on Django's planet. Concord Dawn sounds like Cara Dune. Yeah, there's similarities too as well. If you look at that story as well, although she's not a Mandalorian, she was a rebel. She did fight in the rebellion. So that's the difference right there as well. Cintis from Concordan, yeah. Let's see here. Ta-da. Oh, okay. So you already answered that one. Okay. Jamie, 2 of the casualties by Disney Wars, Kyle Katarn and Jen, or it's just a lot of that. And the biggest, I mean, I wouldn't discredit their casualties as well, but the main casualty that really struck a lot of people was Luke Skywalker's.
They some fans were remaking Dark Forces in a new engine.
Oh yeah.
And just about the time when Rogue One was released, Disney had that project canceled or shut down.
Yeah.
But they've re-released, Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
But they're not touching Dark Forces.
Wow.
It's kind of telling.
Yeah.
Because the Dark Forces remake was being made by fans, and it was supposed to be a mod for a different game, which means it's not a game, and they're not, making any money from it, right? It's just a modification for another game.
Yeah.
Which is usually quite okay.
Yeah.
Nobody shuts those down, but Disney did.
Yeah. Of course. And if you notice in the history, like when fans did remakes of Star Wars, when George Lucas was, it was his company and his business, his baby, he didn't care. He actually liked it. And then we got parodies of Star Wars, with like The Simpsons and stuff, and he didn't care. He thought it was fun. And now that we have a corporate business that has Star Wars, they don't want you to do that because they don't want to miss out on the money or the fans or whatever is going on, whatever's in their head with what fans are putting out about Star Wars. And Will Gentry, I think you're talking about Jan Ors. Are you asking about Jan Ors? She basically was another EU character that was developed in, I would say, almost like a multimedia project as well.
Yeah. Soul Assassin says that they did the same for a fan-made Knights of the Old Republic remake as well. Disney shut it down. That could be because EA is now making a remake. But bad news, though, because they also said that the remake would be changed a bit to fit the new canon. So they're screwing up Knights of the Old Republic.
And that's never going to be the same because they shorten their timeline now. Disney shortened the timeline now. So like even with hyperdrive, that part of the lore, it wasn't invented at the same time as it was in the original EU. So there's a lot of things that now, if they bring in like even Knights of the Old Republic material, it's going to be very, very different because of their timeline and stuff.
Actually, that's a good point because they are adding the hyperdrive stuff to the High Republic, right? So if they make KOTOR canon, which they're probably going to do since it's an official Disney product now when the remake comes out, it won't make any sense because they won't have hyperspace travel, which means any journey from A to B would take probably 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is like when I was investigating the timeline change on the hyperdrive lore and the hyperdrive in Star Wars, it basically said that hyperdrive was invented 1,000 years before, like I think the Phantom Menace or something. So that doesn't even do justice for any type of KOTOR information or any kind of remake. And I say remake because it's never going to be the same. We're not going to get the same KOTOR stuff.
No, they're going to
bring in is going to be remakes.
I guess they could set Knights of the Old Republic to a thousand years before
Mm-hmm.
episode one that they're changing that. But I kind of doubt that though. But
Yeah.
uh, if they don't do it, that game won't make any sense at all.
And that doesn't make sense when they remake it, especially with the hyperdrive and everything as well,
Yeah,
because then we get like with
yeah. It's like
Obi-Wan's quote about the Jedi as well
yeah,
in A
and
New Hope.
it's like if they change it and set Kotor in the original timeline, like 5,000
Mhm.
years before episode one, and they have hyperdrives,
Yeah.
it's like putting cell phones into the Braveheart movie.
Wow. Yes, that's a great analogy. You're like cell phones in a Braveheart.
Yeah,
Yes. So, John Jenkins, don't you think Barris would be a great fit for a future entry? She was such a complex character. She was really, really great. And the only thing I have that I didn't like is the fact is her arc was really severe. I wouldn't say severely, maybe severely changed for the sake of Ahsoka. And I didn't like that they changed up her character arc for that.
she's a train wreck, and
Yeah.
because of the Clone Wars. Because if you watch Attack of the Clones,
Hmm.
which takes place right before the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
Barris is as tall as the Clone Troopers, same
Yeah.
height, because you see them next to each other, and the actors are the same height too. And she's in her mid 20s at least.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Clone Wars happens, and she's a very short 15-year-old girl. So she's basically the Benjamin Button of Star Wars. She just ages backwards. So if she survived the Clone Wars, she's a fetus by now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Probably Baby Yoda.
Yeah. And
But
he Will Gentry has go ahead.
Filoni, Filoni can't even pay attention to the movies.
What can you say? I mean, that happened, and now we have, now we are where we're at with all this. So, Will Gentry, well, that's the thing. It's not that they want the money, it's more that they just don't want anyone else to get a red cent off their IP. If they were smart, they'd let people make them and split the profit. Or even if they were smart, they would just because the more fans get into Star Wars and even create art from it, make stories from it or whatever, it's they're gonna just have their heart in Star Wars. And by taking that away from fans, I guess you can say that
And
also creates split.
here's a thought. According to Disney canon, a
Hmm.
Sith can only get a lightsaber by killing a Jedi and taking his lightsaber and making the blade go red. There's no quick.
Okay, I know that they bled the crystal out, but I didn't know that part of
Yeah,
that
it's
new
it's actually
canon.
kind of yeah, it's actually kind of stupid because in the Darth Maul novel they released,
Hmm.
he kills his first Jedi with a lightsaber. So he shouldn't even have that one. He needs to get it from a Jedi, right? But
Yeah,
in Knights of the Old Republic, there's a Sith Empire with a pile of people have lightsabers. So if they
yeah,
have to get it from the Jedi, and the Jedi are fewer, where do the lightsabers come from?
yeah. Great point. I'll have to look into that. And I still got to continue my lightsaber history videos. And so maybe I'll put that in there as well. So, John Jenkins, what about the Great Hyperspace War? It's not in the new canon, it's just the original EU. So I would stick to the original EU for all the great stories. Mandalore is all knowing. I try my best. I do. Um, I'm annoyed by the shutdown of Project Apron, especially since failed to give us anything in game diversity in return.
I'm not
Um,
sure what project that is. Is the Dark Forces remake?
That's what I'm thinking too. So if you want to expand on that a little bit more, Jamie. Wookiee supremacy. There's going to be a day when we all look back on Star Wars and only remember a small fraction of it being any good. Maybe if we probably take a look at the new stuff, maybe, or maybe by the time we take a look back at it, maybe it will be rebooted again. Who knows? So my hopes is that I help contribute with the funding. So I pitched in my money with the billboard campaign, and that was placed in a certain proximity from the Lucasfilm offices in San Francisco, our headquarters. And so we are asking for Lucasfilm to continue Legends timeline as a parallel universe, and asking that we get the same authors that contribute to it. And if that ever comes to fruition, then I'm hoping that maybe Leland Shee can still be a part or oversee that project, since he was one of them that kept up the story lore very well. So I
That
wouldn't trust Hidalgo or anybody else with that if we went that way.
that can backfire fast though if the story group gets involved.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I threw out Leland Chee's name, because he's the one that kept the continuity as well. And bring back Sue Stoney as well for that. So I mean, people throw around raping my childhood, but that's exactly what that rat did. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we invested into these stories, and when it first came out, or no matter how old we were when we first watched it, a lot of us were, born within, I guess you could say, the golden age of Star Wars when it first started coming out, or as soon as the prequels came out. So we got to see Star Wars through the original creator's eyes. So that one guy says, switch. That's just so perfect. Just the name right there. That one guy says, switching subjects real fast. I like the glasses OG, very teacher librarian like. Thank you. Oh shit, we have a lot of comments going on. Hi Biden Touch, how are you doing? Wookie says it's a logo to Disney, nothing more, and they think they stick it on something, it will sell. Yeah, that's exactly what Star Wars is to Disney right now.
And they're actually kind of right as well, because I've seen a lot of people just defend it because as long
It's
as it
Star
has
Wars,
the
and
logo,
I love it. Yep.
as long as it has the logo, it's Star Wars, and everyone who doesn't agree aren't fans. But
Yeah.
you can take a sticker of the logo and put it on dog shit. It won't make it Star Wars.
But they will still consume it.
Oh yeah, they will. They'll eat it.
Okay, the one true Genesis Old Republic movie involved the creation of the first lightsabers would be cool, like the Jedi and the Sith really rely fully on the Force. Again,
Well, they had regular swords.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They had regular swords, and then they went into the power pack one. And what's an interesting fact is that the Sith they are the ones that created lightsabers that we see today.
Yeah, and yet they can only take them from Jedi.
Yeah, and so that's a big, huge twist of the story. Yep. Or not the story, the change, the reboot, the remake of the lightsaber story. So think about that, you guys. The Sith are the ones that what created the saber as they are today, that we see them today within the original lore. Now, supposedly, the Sith now can only get them by killing a Jedi and bleeding the crystal out to be red. Yeah.
Razvan has explained that game project thing, and yeah, it's the Knights of the Old Republic remake as a mod this time as well. It got cancelled. That's probably because EA have been hired to do a remake of KOTOR 1 though. So they don't want competition.
Yeah. Of course. All right. Wookiee supremacy. they almost sucked me into the Bad Batch episode of Clone Wars, and they gave us a mohawk and a shithead. Exactly. I mean, everybody's that's the first thing I seen when I thought of when I seen the character. I was like, wow, looks like someone took a shit on our head. So
Yeah. Close encounters of the third kind.
I don't know, but yes. Okay, Will Gentry, yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it? As much as the fans have invested their time and money in old Star Wars, it's entirely up to them now what is and isn't Star Wars. Actually, the original lore is always going to be there. It's always going to be there for us, and so we have that choice on deciding where we want to spend our time and our money on. So like what my banner says, I choose legends. So I encourage you guys, if you still adore and love George Lucas's creative stories and his team of writers, basically, that and how they collaborated, and how there was a thought out story and history in Star Wars 25 millennia, then stay with the original legends.
John Jenkins has an excellent point. He says, "Let me get this straight. Sith can conquer the freaking galaxy, but not smart enough to make a lightsaber. I mean, all they have to do is open up a lightsaber
Uh-huh.
and just figure out how it works. It's basically a flashlight, really, and then just take notes and give it to the other Sith. That's all it takes. Could have done it 1,000 years ago."
And the fans' only option is rather to buy what they're selling or not. And they are still selling the original lore. The original lore is still there. So I encourage you guys, if that's where your heart lays. Now, if you like Star Wars too, or Disney Star Wars, get that too. But, always invest in the classic, where it came from. And that's George Lucas's era. Okay. Hi, Christopher. Hello, OG Star Wars. Who's the guest you're talking to? This is Stig Kenobi. All right. A limp mohawk, lame. I know, right? I still believe that people at Lucasfilm still have no clue what Star Wars is. No, they don't. And that's, maybe somewhere down the line we'll have a reconstruction within Lucasfilms with the story group. I mean, we can always put that hope out there, but I wouldn't hold your breath on it.
Star Wars is infected by SJW syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
It's not coming back.
Yeah. All right. I thought the Sith were the ones who created their lightsabers.
Yeah, it used to be.
I'll look into that more, because like I said, I still have to expand on my lightsaber history. I think I did part 1, and then I did part 2 in a live stream. So I'll have to clip that part out of there and add that, and then expand from there, because I like to compare and contrast, and that's eventually what I'm going to do with the lightsabers as well. Mr. Dystopian, they cut several arcs out of season 7, including the Kyber crystal and a Boba Fett episode. Disney half-assedly brought Clone Wars back only to push Disney Plus. It was very popular, and so they will bring it back. And I think for the sake of Filoni, they brought it back as well. I think he pushed the project, but he also, remade some scenes in there and rewritten some stuff in there. And mind you, yes, he has that choice, but also he doesn't. He has to do what his bosses wants. And so, replacing a male character that could possibly be a love interest of Ahsoka with 2 girls basically shows the agenda of what's going on. So, Will Gentry, that's my point. It's up to you to decide what you consume. Yeah, but it's entirely up to them to decide what is official Star Wars. As much as fans may hate what official now, they can't change it. They have the right to change everything, but when you look at the term canon, it is from canon, basically is derived from the original creator. So the original creator, no matter what Disney wants to say, the original creator is George. And so anything that comes after that's made that's not with his help, his assistant, his oversight, is basically not original Star Wars, even though they have that right to remake it. And that's what canon means. It comes from the original creator.
Rebecca Brown, you're a twat.
Uh-oh, what'd she do?
Oh, it says I love Sweden.
Oh, oh, she has to do that, huh? You guys. Someone says, and wouldn't Disney Sith have former Jedi join them and tell how to make a lightsaber? He's like, you're like really spinning on that now. We're gonna have to go into that a little bit more. Maybe I'll do like an evening live stream here soon about that. John Jenkins, does anyone think they are not making things up after people like us point out inconsistencies in their logic? They don't care. They're going to do what they want to do, and when you see the clipboard for High Republic, that's what they want to do. So, Christopher Barker, what's his name? Steve Kenobi. Sorry, I misspelled his first name.
It's STIG, pronounced.
Yeah, let me go ahead and put our names up here then.
And that's my real first name. It's not a reference to Top Gear.
Let's see here. It's not going to let me now. Show display names. Yes, show them. Okay. Okay, so we're going to switch gears here. It's not letting me. You suck. I'm probably doing something wrong. That's okay. We're going to switch gears here now. So we're going to get into the solo Paradise Snare. And yes, it has the Legends banner. I don't care. I will buy Legends, but we'll buy the books if they have Legend banners as well. So, and this right here, I was gifted during Christmas time. This is the actual Han Solo trilogy in a beautiful book here. Has its own bookmarker here. Some cool art. Jabba right there. Oh, and Boba. So comparing and contrast between Solo, the Star Wars story, and the Han Solo trilogy, this right here basically gives just the information on how, his name, his lineage, how he learns how to understand, not speak, but understand Sherry Wook or Wookiee, their language, and how, like, who cared for him, how he got under the influence of a crime lord, basically, how he got free, his first love. I mean, this is such a great story, and I encourage you guys to read it. So we're going to start expanding on that. So Stig, if you want to share anything about the story you liked in just Paradise Snare, we're not talking about the whole trilogy.
I didn't like it that much, but it was a lot better than the Solo movie, because this book made sense. I mean, Han Solo was basically raised by a female Wookiee, hence why he knows the language, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the Solo movie, he just made guesswork, dog sounds, and apparently Chewie understood that, which it makes no sense.
Yeah.
And after that, Han Solo understood him.
Yeah.
With no problems.
Yeah.
Just make some barking sounds and you can understand the language, apparently.
Yeah.
As for the rest of the book, I always thought it was just okay. It really wasn't my favorite trilogy at all.
Okay.
6 out of 10, but it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
With the movies and stuff. So.
Yeah. So the trilogy, I rather liked it because it expounded on a young Han Solo. So in this book here, his age here is 19 and it's 10 BBY. That's where this book falls in the timeline. And so he's 19 there. So by the time he gets to New Hope, he's 29. So he's about 10 years, give or take, because Han Solo never knew exactly how old he was or his exact birth time because he was orphaned at a very young age. There's no so far, and I wish they could expand on it further, but how he became an orphan and his parents were killed was never ever expanded on, or there was never a chance to expand on that. And so Han Solo has always been a mystery to himself, mostly, even though he knew his name and the significance of his lineage. But it's always been a mystery of how he came about and like what happened to his parents. And So I thought that was very interesting as well.
Apparently, Matt Wilkins has noticed that I'm everywhere on YouTube these days. I actually am. I've been, quarantined, right?
Yeah, it's like he's like, oh, Laura's gonna be on live stream. I'm just gonna pop in.
Yeah. I'm a I'm a force ghost, so I can do that.
You can do that, huh? You can just pop in and out. And how are you doing, Matt Wilkins? So this was a fun book to read. So someone had the question about Star Wars solo story, Kira and Bria. So the difference between them. So from what I recall, with Kira is that she basically was a love interest that they got to know each other. And her story arc is basically she joins forces with the bad guys, right? So, and then Bria, he rescues Bria and gets her away from was it Tindatel or whatever? They are like cousins to the Huts. And so they were like a cult, or they were making it like a cult where they would bring species in like humans and stuff, and they would do worships and everything, and then they would send out their pheromones and their, I guess you could say, their chants. I should bring up that species. And that would put like a spell and trance on them. And so people would get addicted to that. And so they would then enslave them and use them to work in the spice mines and stuff like that. And so Han Solo, he went to Yesila, I think I said that right, to work as a pilot after he escaped from Garrus Shrike. And from there, he met Bria. I think her number was 791. And so he met Bria there and began to start liking her, and, basically got her out of that trance, that spell, away from that cult. They were forming a relationship and stuff. And so her story in the whole trilogy is basically after she overcomes all of that and she becomes her own person, she starts working for the Rebel Alliance, and she's part of the Rebel Alliance. So the stories are very, very different. So, and I don't know if you want to expand on that, Stig.
No.
Okay, no. I just love it. You're like, no. Okay.
Well, you got it all, so
All right.
I know when to keep my mouth shut.
Very good. Very good. We've been going through some banter this morning on Twitter, so. Okay, not as famous as Stig. I'm working on it. There you go. Stig, see you.
I'm pretty sure he's way more famous than I am.
Yes. And so if you guys have any more questions about like Bria Theron compared to Kira, then go ahead and put them in the comments, and so we can expand on that some more. And I do have a clip that we can listen to as well. So I did clip some stuff from the Audible book. What? I have never heard of Stig Knoby, Matt. You're well known.
Oh, that's good. Finally, someone who hasn't. It's supposed to be like that. I'm not even a YouTuber.
Aren't you supposed to be in exile, mister?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be in exile, and
no one's supposed to know about you.
I'm not a YouTuber.
You're a YouTuber. You're just a low key YouTuber. You're in denial.
In denial. That's in Egypt.
Yes, you are, and you're floating down that river, darling.
Yeah. The lovely Teresa Martin is in the chat too. Great EU supporting lady.
Oh, okay. Yes, and hello, Teresa. How are you doing? And she's the one of them that has bought my merch, and so I do have merch, and I'll put it in the link below in the description below. So she bought the travel mug. So thank you so much for your support, darling. Between AC Crispin and Brian Daly's trilogy, which is your favorite Han trilogy? Oh, that's kind of tough. Okay, you still go ahead and you answer that if you read Daly by Brian's.
The Daly trilogy has that's the old ones from the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I've only read one of them, and that was Han Solo, and crap, I can't remember the name of it. It's the I think I read the comic, but I don't know which one is. Well, I have to say AC Christmas one because that's the one I read all of, right?
Yeah. I have to go back and read Brian Daly's. It's been a while since I have. But this has always stuck in my mind. With the I had it upside down with with continuity wise or whatever. And so I was thinking of going after I reviewed this trilogy, I was thinking of going all the way to Corellian trilogy, but now that I think about it, I think I will do Brian Daly's just to compare and contrast between the two. Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Matt. See,
Hmm.
look at
Good idea.
Huh?
Good idea.
Yeah, and then I'll go to the Corellian trilogy after that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not necessarily staying in the timeline like how Matt Wilkins is, and I just love his structure. And like when my history with watching his channel and getting to know him was that after the acquisition of Disney, Star Wars, I was like, I just can't do this. My heart is staying within George Lucas era Star Wars. So I found his channel and began to revisit the EU again. And I guess you could say it made me fall back. I don't think I've ever fell out of love with the original lore, but it just put me back into it, fully back into it like I used to be. And so from there, thanks to Matt and a few others, I began my journey back into revisiting the EU and discovering that I still love it. I still love the stories. I still love the consistent history in it, and what was created in George Lucas's franchise at the time. OG Star Wars, tell me a story. Once upon a time. Let's see here. Stig, I can hear you say these are not the droids you are looking for.
Really, you heard that? They did it in sign language. I can say it though.
Say it.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
There you go. All right. Let's see here. You've read only one of Brian Daly's book. That's it, OG. Kick him off. Laugh out loud.
Oh no. Well,
you lost your popularity there, darling.
I am going to fix that just for you, Mr. Wilkins.
Yeah, now that's your thing now. Okay, so you have to start them now. So by the time I get to those books, you can help me review these books.
One of them is Revenge of Han Solo, right?
Yeah.
I'll try and get it done. I need to get the books though.
Okay. Holding you to it, darling. Holding it to you. And Matt has now heard you say that too as well.
Yeah. So. I'm dedicating the books to Matt, or rather my reading of them.
Okay. And once we get to that and we start reviewing them, I will tag Matt Wilkins in here so that he can.
You're silent.
There we go. I don't know what happened. My mic got muted. I think my cursor went over and muted it.
No, it's just me playing with the Force. Sorry about that.
See, look at that. Okay, how is Matt Wilkins handling quarantine? So how are you handling, Matt? I might as well just bring you on. I'm growing the worst looking beard in history. I think a lot of guys are. That's all you've been hearing is, oh, my beard's getting longer.
I wouldn't know because I haven't been to the bathroom in 3 weeks. I just don't care anymore. Yeah, it's just.
Oh my God, Stig. Oh, damn. I like the Darth Vader trilogy. Are you talking about Labyrinth of Evil, Revenge of the Sith, and Dark Lord? I think she might be talking about that, the ascension from Anakin into Vader, that trilogy, that one. So Assassin, that's a cool guy. Here's his YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Yes, you guys go subscribe if you have not. There's plenty of things to go back and revisit. He's basically one of the keepers of the lore. His heart is within the original EU, and he and he also puts out gaming stuff like board games reviews and stuff as well. So go visit. It's well worth it. Well worth your time, especially now that we are in social distancing. Plenty of time now, plenty of good time to get into the games, the board games and all that as well.
I think I might have been on a stream with Matt Wilkins once on Lethal Lightning's channel or Ryan's channel
Yeah, I have
last year.
not yet. I haven't had a chance to even, get in on one of his streams as well, and I would love to. So, oh, and I hate quarantine. Still waiting for the shipment of Bacta to arrive. That's put on hold, right? Okay, Yellow Devil. After the EU got canceled, I stopped buying books. The new canon will be discarded too. I would say buy all legends. I'm gonna put my banner back up. I'm going back to my banner. All right, so now if that's where your heart is at, and you like the original lore, the original EU, I would say continue to buy it, even if it has the banner on it. Buy it, because then it shows where our hearts and our interest lies. It gives that to Disney Lucasfilm. So
I'm gonna give Matt Wilkins a follow on Twitter.
yeah, okay. He's on Twitter now?
Oh, I just assumed he was.
Are you on Twitter, Matt Wilkins? I don't know. I know Brian is from Twin Sons. I recently read the daily trilogy. I need to read the Crispin trilogy. Yes, read it. All right, Christopher Barker. Yes, Matt. The world does need that sweet Bacta. Yes. Man, just imagine if you had something like that. That would be friggin' amazing. There was an unauthorized solo trilogy from Hungary, right? No, I did not. Oh my God, you're gonna have to expand on that with me. And that I'm missing. I didn't know. Never been translated. I'm telling you, he is like this lore keeper. It's amazing. I'm growing that beard too. I'm not gonna. Yeah, the minute I say it, we're gonna get booted off of live stream. So, let me see. I'm about to buy my Mad Max armor in the next couple of weeks. Laugh out loud. All right, so let's go back to the book here, and I'll go and scroll down as well. And so another thing too is I'm going to go ahead and bring up the clip from. Let me see. Here it is from the Audible. Let me see here. Is that the right one? There we go. I still am. I feel like I'm still like a novice of pulling this crap up.
Oh, you're about 1,000% better than I am. So.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. All right, so let's go to Han Solo's family first, and then we'll go to his because Bria does leave him, like I said in this book. Bria leaves him because she's still trying to overcome the addiction to the pheromones of that species that she was under, the cult that she was under. So she's trying to find herself. But we're going to go ahead and listen to Han Solo's family history right here. Just a brief.
On one of those visits, Han tracked down a family called Sal Solo and had met Thraken Sal Solo, a slightly older boy who closely resembled Han, conclusively establishing that they were related. Han had hoped to find a home with the Sal Solos, but the boy was a bully, and his widowed mother, Tion, was a fearful, untrusting recluse. However, Han did learn that he was probably the son of Tion's twin brother. The twins had been separated as infants when their parents, Han and Thraken's grandparents, had fled to escape from raiders. No one had heard from Tion's father or brother since. Thraken himself had notified Shrike of his cousin Han's whereabouts, and Han was returned to Trader's Luck and severely beaten. For a moment.
All right. So that was basically a brief history right there, and expands more as you go on throughout the trilogy here. And so, we get Han Solo learning and how he first learned about his name, because when he was found by Shrike, he only knew his name. He didn't know his surname. He didn't know his family lineage or anything like that. And Dulana, the Wookiee that helped take care of him, was basically the one that was able to find out where Han came from, who his family is. And because Han comes from a prominent family from Corellia, basically his ancestor is the one that brought democracy to Corellia. Shrike used that as a leverage tool as well. He knew that he had gold when he had Han Solo when he found him. And so I thought that was interesting, compare and contrast it to Disney Star Wars Solo. Han basically is a nobody, and he's renamed by the Imperial officer that's enlisted him into the Navy or into the services. So that's where I fell off with well, I was never really involved with Disney Star Wars, but that just made me cringe, I guess you can say, having that. And again, if you like the solo Star Wars story, there's just a compare and contrast between the two differences between how Disney's taken Han Solo and how he was seen through the light of the original lore. So, and you have anything?
It makes no sense how he got his name in the Disney canon. Because if he hates the Empire, why the heck would he keep the name they gave him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I did have a debate on Twitter because Twitter offers people are so heated on Twitter about subjects and stuff, and so passionate, I guess you could say, if I want to put a little bit more better spin on that. And so someone was defending the Solo story because I started sharing that this is what we're going to be reviewing. And they're like, well, I don't like how, Han Solo was basically had royal blood, I guess you can say. And I like how he was a mystery and how they just renamed him Solo in the Solo story. I'm like, well, I don't care for that. I like his original origin and his original story. And I think that just, I just don't care for the direction that was how he was taken in that. So, everybody has their opinion and has their likes and dislikes with, the lore. And I try to respect it as much as I can. It's just, Disney Star Wars is not my thing. So you want to say anything else, Stig?
I don't respect Disney Star Wars at all anymore.
You're like, hell no.
Yeah, I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Christopher Barker. And I keep on thinking of my grandma's cousin, Bob Barker. And I'm not pulling or yanking your guys' chain, but my grandma was cousins with Bob Barker from The Price is Right. So a little history there.
I have no clue what that is, but
you don't know what The Price is Right is?
No, we didn't have that in Norway.
I know, but it was never shown or aired over there at all.
No.
Wow.
No. We had MacGyver though.
Oh, yeah. You're like, The Price is Right is a game show that is from like the 70s, 80s, I guess you can say, and into the 90s. And now I think that they still have it. I'm not too sure now. I haven't been keeping up with it that much, but she would watch it. She's gone and been in the audience, but because they are family, she could never play on it. All right. Okay, so have you heard some Star Wars fans turning on Filoni? Yeah, they didn't like the direction that he's going, and
more like a lot of them.
I never cared for Filoni myself. I've never had that much respect for him, but there are some there, like the Clone Wars is good for what it was, but the continuity that was kept in it was awful. So
yeah, it just shouldn't have been canon, really, because it contradicts even the movies.
Yeah. Let's see here. Too old for Twitter. That's for cooler kids. Oh, come on now. We're probably about the same age. And I'm on there. Hey, Abunas is in here. Hello. Let's see here. Okay. That's Mr. Dystopian. There's plenty of Star Wars Legends comics, ominous ambience. Is that what you're saying to get, especially Legacy? Yes, I have Legacy Volume 2. I need to get Legacy Volume 1, and Legacy Volume 3 should be coming out. So I can't wait for that. We'll be reviewing those as well.
I have 19 of them. Did you hear that, Mr. Wilkins? I have 19 Star Wars comic book omnibuses, all Legends.
He's like, did you hear that, Matt Wilkins?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Did you hear me loud and clear?
So now you have to forgive me for at least one of the Solo books.
Oh, he's begging for forgiveness. Oh, Stig, you've been on the roll today, have you? Not your day.
You will forget about the Solo books.
All right. Haven't read the Crispin trilogy in a while, 20 odd years. So it's definitely due a reread. Yeah. So, I usually say get the Audible, but because it's unabridged or abridged or whatever, so it's not the whole story, it's just plot heavy, that's all. I would read the book first, and then if you want to get the Audible, I should just they should just sponsor my channel, because I'm always telling people get the Audible as well, because if you get too busy in life to read, you can always listen, and it's fun to listen because then you have the Star Wars sound effects and all of that. And but with this trilogy, it's not the whole complete story. It's just plot heavy. Matt Wilkins, cool kid. Yeah, let's see here. Yellow Devil already owned 56 EU books during Corona. Yeah, during that, I'm reading your recommended Han Solo books plus 90s comics from Marvel. Nice.
Top man.
Nice. So, Stig, what are you currently on right now? Because we were talking about that a little bit last night.
Almost done with the first Darth Bane trilogy book, and I'm reading one of the Star Wars omnibus books, sort of
Okay.
like comic omnibuses. It's Rebellion Part 2.
Okay.
Lots of Wedge and Leia in it. Really cool.
Okay.
And I'm also reading the first Game of Thrones book. So been
Yeah.
reading a lot.
Okay. And that's basically what our time has been lately, is reconnecting with families, trying not to go crazy, stir crazy, and basically staying in one space, for a large amount of time. And then just connecting with other like-minded people here on social media, and having fun with it, so it's okay. Abu Nas, thank you for coming in, always appreciated. Let's see. I really like the audiobooks. Yes. And so, like I said, there's a lot of audiobooks that are not the whole story. That's plot heavy. What I mean by plot heavy is that it maintains the plot, but there's little things in the story that you might miss because they don't have the whole entire story.
Yeah, they're abridged.
Abridged. Yes. I always get that unabridged and abridged switched up sometimes. Yeah, but like the Thrawn trilogy is unabridged. I think the Thrawn duology is unabridged as well.
Kenobi, I think, is unabridged, and
Yes, Kenobi is unabridged as well. And
Plagueis.
that's amazing to listen to. What else?
Plagueis and the Darth Bane,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the Rise of Darth Vader.
Yeah, I think. No, it's not. It's abridged. Yeah.
Well, then I was wrong.
Dang it. Okay, let's see here. I get a lot of I have got a lot of catching up. Yes, you do. You sure do. All right. Christopher Barker, hello, my nerdy home. How are you? Nice little shout out there. Abu Nas, my brother, Subhuman. What's going on? Nice little shout out there. Yep, Solo not being a family name was one of my disservices Han has received, or many disservices Han has received, and at the hands of Disney. Another disservice, Han selling Luke's medal. Yes, in that novel. Yes, it's like I said, it's to a lot of fans that grew up knowing these characters and loving and watching their arc develop. We just can't visualize them in that light anymore, and so that this revisionist of these characters, it just doesn't sit well with people who grew up with these characters.
Yeah, and if we hadn't bought those books and comics back in the day, there wouldn't even have been a Star Wars now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because that's what financed the prequel trilogy.
Yeah. I think the Tales of the Jedi are having a collection come out time this year.
Ooh.
Okay. Ha ha ha. So salams to my brother. Hello. All right. Glad you guys are all coming in. All right. So let's go ahead and is it me or blurry? What are you talking about? Am I blurry? Oh, let me see here. I recommend listening to music to keep sane during lockdown. Music is good for the soul. Yes, I love listening to the music. I sometimes will listen to the audibles. I also do yoga. Like the weather's great outside right now, so I've done yoga outside. Sometimes I get out there and dance. So it's movement helps with not falling into depression or whatever, or it helps lift worries in this uncertain times. So, and reading can do that as well. Even though the timeline doesn't match, I like reading Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader, and the Kenobi. They're basically parallel. Basically, we have Kenobi story happening here of delivering Luke to the Lars and basically learning how to adapt to exile. And then we have Darth Vader and what's going on with the Purge. And so they run parallel with each other. So it still fits together in a sense because we have just the development of two individuals that was once master and apprentice, I guess you can say, and what's going on with them. So it still matches up.
Yeah, and the Kenobi book actually skips a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
The whole timeline of that book
Mm-hmm.
isn't. Um, yeah, we don't really know how many years or whatever passes in that book.
I will pull it up right now. Oh shit, my phone's dead. I will pull it up right now. So hold on, you guys. Let me get at this. I'll tell you where Kenobi falls in the timeline. I think it should be in the book here instead of me just. Okay. All right. Shatterpoint. Nope. Han Solo, Force Unleashed. Where is it at? Okay, Kenobi and it's just giving me 19 years. So let me pull up the actual like dated timeline for it. Okay. Let's do this. I always tried, and like I said, the solo Paradise Snare is 10 BBY. So scoundrels. So so Kenobi and Dark Lord are both 19 BBY.
Yeah, they basically start right after episode 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and they're basically like they run parallel with each other because we have Obi-Wan and his new I wouldn't say arc, but his going in exile and protecting Luke, and I guess you could say his new adventures. And then we have Darth Vader, and then also the Jedi that are still out there that are supposed to remain anonymous, but they don't. I'm not going to get too much into that. So they're both a great read. I would read them both together. It's fun to see like what's going on with once was the apprentice and once was the master. So they're very interesting to read side by side. Abu Nas, I call the James Lucena trilogy. I call it the James Lucena trilogy and Unifying Force, Labyrinth of Evil, and Rise of Darth Vader. Yes, and you can get that in a trilogy book. So they do. It's not exactly like this. This is the Han Solo trilogy, so it's not like this, but you could actually buy them together in one book. So, Ivan, everyone should have a home workout plan. Yes, and I do something on my yoga Facebook page to help people, invite people to move and stuff and learn how to connect with themselves to make sure that they stay relatively healthy mentally and, and physically as well. So that's just a little glimpse of me.
I agree. I should have that,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't.
You don't. You like laugh. I don't. Ha ha ha. All right. I know you recommended Kenobi and Darth Bane trilogy, but what comes chronologically after the Last Command? All right. So Last Command, we do have X-Wing series. Let me pull it up.
I think it's the Jedi Academy trilogy.
Yeah, that right there. The X-Wing is before, so I was wrong on that. So Last Command, we do have an X-Wing, Isard's Revenge afterwards, the Jedi Academy, Jedi, and then we have Children of the Jedi, and then we go all the way into the Fleet Crisis, and then the Corellian trilogy, and then the Han of Thrawn trilogy or duology. So Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to that other clip. And let me pull it up. Oopsie. All right. I just kind of, are you still there, Stig?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, I thought I accidentally booted you. I was like, whoopsie. All
No.
right. You're just itty bitty on the side of me.
Yeah, I shrunk.
Okay. You shrunk. See, I updated my StreamYard services and stuff, and so I'm getting used to this new way of display because it kind of changes. Okay, let's go ahead. And this clip, let me get to it, is Bree leaves Han. So Bree Theron leaves Han and what he thinks.
Suddenly he couldn't stand being here, seeing this dreadful little room any longer. Stuffing his few belongings into his small bag, Han distributed handfuls of credit vouchers into his inside pockets. Then he put on his ancient jacket and stuffed the blaster into the front of it. He walked out and kept walking. All day and into the late night he walked, moving like a droid through the unsavory crowds of this area far below ground level. From now on, it's just me, Han Solo, he thought, stopping and peering up at the night sky, barely visible at the top of an air shaft. One star, or was it a space station, winked against the blackness. Han's mental declaration had the conviction of a sworn oath.
All right. So basically, Bree Theron left him a note saying, I need to go and take care of myself. I'm still addicted to this cult and blah, blah, blah. And so she's fighting herself. And so she leaves him, tells him she loves him, and she leaves him. And so he's like, it's just me, and my name says it all. I'm going to remain solo. So when we see him, Han Solo, develop throughout the trilogy and into the films, we kind of get an understanding about why he is skeptical about things. And why he's like, I'm not gonna, be here for your cause, princess, kind of thing, because he was already played by a woman who was basically, as the story goes, gets involved with the rebellion, and he does get betrayed by her. And that will be, I will reveal more of that as we read more into the Han Solo trilogy. So you want to have anything you want to expand on that, Steve?
It mirrors Kira though from the Solo movie, so it pretty much ripped her off. It was intended to be a trilogy, so I'm pretty sure she would have betrayed Han Solo in movie number 2.
Yeah, and like I said with Kira and Bria, is that it has a mirroring to it, but their arc is kind of different because one goes into the rebellion and one goes into the crime syndicate under Maul. And so that's kind of interesting, I guess you can say, comparing the two that way. So OG Star Wars, I knew Darth Lord and Kenobi were happening at the same time. Yes, they were basically near the same time. And which one was it? In Darth Lord, at the end, we do have Kenobi. He's at a tap calf, or he's, somewhere drinking, and he sees on the Hollow News about Vader, and he like basically flips out.
Yes, CNN.
Yeah, he sees it on CNN.
Yeah, Corellian News Network.
Yeah, and that's a good one, Steak. And then in Kenobi, he realizes that Anakin survives as well, and he's like, should I take Luke and flee? Because what if what if Vader comes to Tatooine and finds Luke? And and then Qui-Gon speaks to him and says, basically that if he revisits Tatooine, it'll awaken Anakin, and he doesn't want that to happen. So interesting bit right there. The Kenobi audiobook is a better movie than whatever KK is planning. It's a very great listen, and like you get to learn about the Sand people, their culture and their history as well. And so it's just to me it's phenomenal. So I like it. OG Ahsoka being in every Disney Plus Star Wars, I think, is dumb. Where's the risk factor in killing her off? You're gonna have to ask Filoni that.
It's his waifu.
It's his waifu, huh? All right. So on the Han Solo on Paradise Snare Stick, what parts do you like? So what really you like about the book? I know you don't place it
The
that
next day,
too high.
Han left the Theron.
Whoops.
The next day, Han left.
Sorry
Stop
about that.
The
Trying to
next
force
day,
you.
Han left the Theron.
Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
Uh, I I liked the beginning, I guess, when we learn about how Han Solo was raised by a Wookiee and
Yeah.
stuff like that. That's the part I remember the most because it made perfect sense. The
Hmm.
rest of it I thought was well, not that good, or rather, not that memorable.
Yeah. Okay. So like in Paradise Snare, at the end of the book, we have him. He enlists, and I shared that in my review video, the clip from it when he's enlisting into the Imperial services, and he basically walks up like a boss. I'm Han Solo because he's excited to actually use his name, and he doesn't have to use his aliases that he's created that Shrike had taught him to do. And so he's like, yes, I get to be respectable. He's always wanted to be respectable. And one thing that hit me in the heart is that basically I'm going to read this here. Basically he's thinking back because again, he's 19 years old in this book, and he's thinking back from age 5, from when he can remember all the way up near 19 years old. And so basically he basically thinks a family of his own, a beautiful wife who adored him, who share adventures with him, and kids. Maybe he'd be a good father. He wouldn't abandon his children the way he'd been abandoned. And so that's very compelling as well, because it shows this man that basically lost his family at a very young age. And so he doesn't know exactly how he lost them, but he sees that he was abandoned basically. And we have no story exactly what happened to them. And he wants to give his kids, if he has kids, he wants to give them the life that he never had. And I think that's very compelling. And being a person who, I wasn't adopted, but I was raised by my paternal grandmother. And so I was given a life. I was abused. My parents were alcoholic and drug addicts. And so I was abused. And so I was given a chance through my grandmother. And so now growing up and experiencing life and stuff, basically is the way that I want to give my kids that chance as well, of living a life that maybe that's free from, worries and disconnect and drugs and alcohol and whatever. So I can relate to that. And so that's what kind of upsetted me about this Han Solo movie, is that they took that away from Han and they turned him into a deadbeat dad. So that's my rant. Stig, you have anything to say? Got quiet.
Yeah, because I was muted.
Why did you mute yourself?
I don't know. I forgot to ask permission.
I know, Stig. What's up with you?
Yeah,
What are you? Go ahead.
I don't have anything to add to that because you nailed it.
Okay. Nailed it in its head. And yeah, so that's one thing that really caught my eye with this as well, is that little part of the story here. And there's another one too, but now I will bring the other one up here pretty soon. So that guy says, what are yours and Stig's one favorite Star Wars novel? So Stig, you go ahead and answer that first. You're the guest.
Well, Kenobi, because it's so well written,
Mm-hmm.
but it's tied with the first Darth Bane novel, which I'm reading now, and I only have like 50 pages left. So
Yeah.
unless the writer screws up the last 50 pages, that one's up there with the Kenobi book for me, at
Mm-hmm.
least.
Yeah. Mine is from the Legacy of the Force series, and it's Inferno by Troy Denning. And Kenobi is right up there as well with that. And then I mean, there's like, I revisit Dark Lord Rise of Darth Vader, because I love the fact, I love how I love seeing what happened with the Jedi during that time and um, all of that. Yeah, so I mean, it's so hard to pick because like with every series there is something that I like, but like I said, out of Legacy of the Force, it's Inferno. So yeah. And you know, like everybody's favorite is has always been the Thrawn trilogy. I love the Thrawn trilogy because I love how it shares how Kenobi says goodbye and how Force ghosts can't remain in the real world, I guess you can say, in the world, and they have to make their journey eventually. So I like all those nuances in there, but hands down, Inferno is one of my favorites, and then Kenobi. So yeah, and I wouldn't say that the Thrawn trilogy is overrated because it's not. Dave Baloney. Um,
Dave, blow me.
below me. Oh, you guys are hilarious. I think that's a great theme and something every father of future fathers can relate to, wanting a better life for their child. Exactly. Han Solo should be have been a general or an admiral, not a homeless drug dealing bomb in outer space. Exactly. And when we see him turn into a smuggler in this book, because this book is when he transitions and turns into a smuggler. He tries it and then it goes all the way in throughout the trilogy, and we see him in the films. Um, he does that for a lifestyle, and he at one point he thinks, oh well, I had my chance of being a respectable person and it's not going to happen, so he goes back to kind of what he's used to and he grew up doing. However, he does have that moral conscience, and that's what we see in the movies as well. The Hobbit trilogy is better than Disney Star Wars. You want to elaborate on that, Stig?
He's right.
Okay. He's like, he's right, hands down. I
Yeah.
thought so, but because you're more versed into that than I am, I thought I'd give that to you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Hobbit movies are perfectly fine. They're
Yeah.
just too cartoony whenever there's an action scene. But
Yeah.
nothing wrong with the story.
Yeah. All right. I agree with Stig. You really nailed it on how deadbeat dads Han was such a terrible idea. Adding your personal thoughts gives much more weight. Thank you for sharing. Yes. And another thing here, and I did share this on my review for my channel, is that he gets to see Leia when he goes to Alderaan. And so basically, Bail Organa sends out a pre-recorded message to anybody that's coming in visiting the planet. And so she's sitting on his lap. And so that kind of foreshadows everything too, as well. And I think that was perfect. Kind of cheesy, but perfect. So, yeah. What do you think, Stig?
Kind of cheesy but perfect. Sounds just about right.
Like you nailed it again, Laura. You nailed it one more
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
best ever on the channel. I just agree with everything.
Mhm. All right. So, what is the species name? What are they called again? I'm going to pull up because we got to laugh at these species here.
You know, I have to be honest. Some of the Star Wars species are downright dumb, and that one is one of them.
Uh huh.
Also, that blue elephant thing at Jabba's palace. Never
Yeah.
liked, never liked them.
Yeah. It's like Talonda Till or something. Is that what they're called?
Um,
I have the book in front of me. Let's see. Talonda Till. I think so. Yes, it is. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up an image so we can take a look at this sucker because they're crazy, and they are like a cousin species to the Huts. I just want the regular picture. I don't want the Wookiee on it. I just want the regular picture. Okay. This looks weird. Oh my god, you guys are gonna have a heyday with this. I swear to God. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up right now. Okay, here we go. Do you guys see it?
yeah, these are intelligent, believe it or
Yes,
not.
very intelligent and stuff. Yeah, so they look like they're rhinos with human arms, and they're like cousin species to the Huts. So these guys have legs and the Huts don't. These guys have horns. And honestly, I don't know why he's holding his horn that way.
Maybe it's only.
He is horny. Yeah, so this is the Teal that basically are from Ulyssia. Yeah, Ulyssia. And so they're a cousin species to the Huts, and they have like when they chant and they send out that vibration noise, it captivates whatever species. It also sends out pheromones, I guess you can say, and that's how they put people in trance, and that's how they basically do this cult that basically they turn people into their slaves. People don't realize it. They just think they're going to worship and stuff, and the pheromones and the chanting and all that makes them feel great, and gives puts them in a euphoria kind of state, but they don't realize that they're being manipulated. So that's very interesting in itself, you know. So that's that. I love the character development in the expanded universe. It makes much more sense than and respects the characters. Yes, it does. OG, are you not monetized yet? No, I am halfway there. So hopefully I will be monetized here soon. And then we'd be cracking. What's Stig's thoughts on the MCU and geek culture? So Stig, this is for you from Christopher Barker.
I I'm not really a comic book fellow, but I- it seems that people are pissed with the MCU at the moment, or rather the Marvel in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know all about it. I
Yeah.
mean, I I've just seen the noise, right? But as for the MCU movies, I've seen all of those, and I'm tired of them because there's like 8 superhero movies a year or something, and it's too much, right? But I don't think they're bad either. They're just kind of like junk food, except for Winter Soldier, which I thought was really good.
Okay. Interesting thought. All right. Thank you so much for expanding on that. Diversity, diversity, and dinosaurs. That guy says my favorite novel is Star by Star. Oh God, that's so sad. Because of the emotional way an OT character that I love dies in it. I don't want to say who and ruin it for that haven't read it yet. Yes, it's and when you get into the new Jedi Order, I think we talked about this last time. It's 19 books, but if you want adventure and you also like want drama and suspense, and that series is for you, especially if you want like a new enemy that's not the Imperial Remnant, then this is for you. If you don't mind a new species coming in as bad guys, it's a great series to read. Yeah, there's some stories that are better than the other. That's how it always goes. um and we do lose characters as well, and those within the media family. So Soul Assassin, send out a good vibrations. Good vibrations. Thank you. The MCU is getting woke. Oh yeah, I know. It's because Marvel is disrespecting its fan base, like Cyclops and Wolverine. If you guys
Uh,
seen that, that's
that one was apparently fake news. It was from a Facebook joking thing from several years ago.
mm-hmm.
So I saw that picture show up on Twitter yesterday, but
Yeah,
apparently it's an old one.
yeah. Okay. And I don't know much of that, so I can't weigh in on that because I never got into the MCU. As you know, I like some characters, but I would say I am a very casual fan when it comes to that.
Well, if you put it in Star Wars terms, it's basically Han Solo and Luke having had sex or something.
Oh my god! Wow,
Yeah,
that's
but it's fake. Someone made it, and it's several years old.
okay.
so it's not from an official comic, I believe.
Hmm. So Mason W says, I'm not ready for the emotional toll of a new Jedi Order. Of the new Jedi Order. Yes. Again, there's emotions in there. I mean, it's very suspenseful. It does get dark. And I think that's why I love about it, because the name of Star Wars, you're gonna have your good times, your bad times, and all that other stuff. And but there's gonna be a point where events are gonna happen and it's gotta be dark. It's gotta be really, really dark. And because of the name Wars and because of what's going on and stuff. So that's another reason why I like it. It's because of that. So do you want to expand on that, Stig? I know you're familiar with them. Did you read all of the books yet?
The New Jedi Order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the first series I read.
Okay.
Um, I started buying Star Wars books. I
Yeah.
think after Episode 1 came out.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the books I read when they came out. Then I took like a almost like a 10-year break from Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and read a lot of fantasy. But I read all of the New Jedi Orders.
Mm-hmm.
Read Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi, Crucible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we all have our beginning point on where we started in the EU. And I know a lot of people, because especially gamers, began with KOTOR. And that's cool. I've never was much of a game. Well, I used to game a lot, but then I stopped. So I never got into KOTOR and stuff because at the time when it came out, I wasn't doing games. So when I came into the EU, I came in post Return of the Jedi because my most favorite character has always been Luke. And so that's why I began on that part of the timeline, is because I wanted to know what he did. I wanted to know what was going on with him and his character during the time.
If
And
you
then
play
after that, I
the
expanded out.
if you play the second Dark Forces, no, sorry, the second Jedi Knight game,
Uh-huh.
you get to do a long mission with Luke,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I my my first Star Wars game was the original X-wing.
Mm. I
Yeah,
have people tell me play the X-Wings because I love the X-Wing series as well.
they're awesome, but you need a joystick.
Yeah. Oh my God, the classic joystick.
Oh yes.
Yes. All right. So Jefferson, if you want to expand on that a little more. So what do you think about the series so far, the New Jedi Order? All right. Razvan, tangents to Star Wars. What do you think the Villeneuve's Dune released photos? Um, I don't know. I seen the one that of with who's the character? What's his name for Poe Dameron? What's his name?
Oscar Isaac.
There we go. Because I know he's in there. So
He's
that's the
actually a
only
good
one.
actor.
Yes, he is. So, all right. I have no opinion between Dune right now. So, and I haven't really went into it to really form my opinion about it just yet. So many great novels to choose from. Heir to the Empire would be a given for me, but I'll name X-Wing Rogue Squadron this time as a favorite. There are some great books in X-Wing series as well. So it's so hard to choose from. But my book that I always go to listen to a lot is Kenobi, admittedly. So I just love the development. I love Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi's character in the book or in the novel as well. I think it's very compelling. Um, so Stig, have you read Warhammer?
No, no, but I know what it is, but I've never read it.
Okay.
It's sci-fi fantasy, really.
Yeah.
Orcs and stuff in the future
Mm-hmm.
with miniguns and yeah.
I'm almost done with my coffee, you guys. Oh my god. Okay. Abu Nas. As old as Couture is, it's still heads and shoulders above the whole Disney trilogy story wise. Right now I'm playing the MPP or MMORPGs, SOTOR, Star Wars, The Old Republic. Awesome. I know a lot of people are playing that right now. I've noticed
He's
that.
right. He's right. KOTOR is way better written than the Disney trilogy.
Yeah, and it's amazing how, it's a game, so it's basically S canon, but then yet we have the books that come off of it that are basically part of canon. So it's amazing how that's all developed.
I know another game that's better written than the Disney trilogy.
What is that?
Tetris.
That's a fun game, hands down. That's one of my favorites.
It's simple, but it's genius, really.
Yeah. All right. But OG, Kathleen Kennedy said women can't relate to Luke, which is BS. Everyone can relate to Luke. Yeah. And so I did, like, the last live stream that from last week that I had Stig on, or that was the first time I've ever done a nighttime live stream about Star Wars. Basically I did a rant about who Luke was to me, and the character arc that was developed in the new lore and stuff. So I clipped that, and so it's a video that's currently on my my channel right now. You guys go ahead and take a listen, take a gander to it if you wish to know my how I relate to Luke in the original EU. My dad got me all of the Clone Wars books. Ooh, lucky. I heard there's a pitch for the X-Wings and the TIE Fight games, but I haven't played them with mouse or keyboard to be able to say whether it's a good thing.
Playing it with a mouse is not a good thing because you have to do loops and stuff because you're in space, right? And
Yeah.
so that means you have to drag the mouse backwards over and over and over again just to move upwards.
Yeah.
So not a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for the advice. All right. So OG, I think Adam Driver is a good actor who deserves better than Star Wars. Yeah. Yeah, they could have, like, I did watch The Force Awakens. His character arc from the very beginning of the movie was like exciting at first, and then it went downhill from there. So I think that if they would have had a plan for that, maybe they would have had something much better than what came out, especially for Adam Driver's character, especially since he's a Skywalker. So that's just my opinion on that. So do you want to say anything about that, Stig?
No, you nailed it again.
He's like, you're just saying it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm like partly put together. I still have my sweatpants on that I slept in, and then I have my Star Wars t-shirt here. Yeah, so
Slept in sweatpants, you slob.
Oh, knock it off. It's comfortable. Don't judge. I think sweatpants could be sexy.
I slept in my bed.
You slept in your bed. Okay. Smart ass. All right. All right. Fun is what Disney removed.
Among other things.
Mom, yeah. All right. This was a good video regarding Luke. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. I appreciate, again, guys, I appreciate all your support, especially all of you guys being here. We have 23 here. So if you haven't had a chance to press that like button, go ahead and share this on Twitter. I think we'll go until 11 a.m. my time. So we still have like 15 more minutes to go. So we'll continue to talk more about Solo here as well. Again, thank you. Zane Carrick, a far better, and I hope I said that right, character than Rey and the rest of Disney characters.
Yeah, that's the one from the Old Republic comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very good character. He actually has a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah, and then the Republic Commando now was an awesome game. And I should have brought it up, but there's some news about a game going, or some game development going, and I seen this morning, but I didn't. I should have pulled them up. Let's see here. Republic Commando. Okay, I already did that. Kylo man lost every fight with Rey, the bestest Jedi ever. Yes, that's true. Sadly. I think Disney, or Daisy, Adam, and John deserve better than what Disney did. Yeah, I think we can all, come to agreement with that. That the story could have been a lot better. Or we will send you to Sweden. Ooh.
Shut up, Rebecca, or I'll send you to the asylum where you belong.
I certainly won't judge sexy sweatpants. Yes. All right, Jefferson, New Jedi Order is my favorite series in the EU. There were moments that absolutely bring me to joy and others that leave me in tears. Jaina shines in the series and takes her place as a lead character. And that is, I can't wait to review that series. That right there for Jaina Solo sets her up as the new Jedi or the Sword of the Jedi. So then she starts slowly becoming a protagonist in the stories, and it goes all the way through into Legacy of the Force and into Fate of the Jedi. And then after that, we are supposed to get the Sword of the Jedi's trilogy, and that's all I have to say about that. So they were building her up as the new Skywalker protagonist, and I think her development was amazing. You have anything to
Yeah.
say about that, Steve?
She is arguably one of the best characters in Star Wars history,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
easily. And everything she gains in terms of power and whatever, she earns.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why that's why I have myself in her liking. So this is her in her X-Wing stealth suit right there. All right. Whoops. Christopher Barker, don't let Stig get you down. Sweatpants on you is sexy. Well, thank you. I am still waiting for Couture remaster. It's been too long. You want to
You
expand on
are,
that?
yeah, it's happening. EA are doing it, but they're changing it to fit the new canon. So
Ooh.
my advice is play the old one with some graphic mods, because the
Yeah.
new one is going to be Disney-fied.
Mm. Sadly. All right. Arkham Asylum or the Mockbuster Studio. So that must be with your telling Becky that she needs to go to the asylum. I'm guessing.
Yeah, she's going to Arkham. No question about it. She's going to be in there with the Joker and the Penguin.
That guy says my favorite part of Republic Commando weaponry was the vibro blade, wrist gauntlet, and our one hit was an instant kill. Yes.
The Republic Commando characters, I believe there's 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
All of them show up for a little while in the Clone Wars series.
Yeah.
And still, people claim the Clone Wars wasn't part of the EU. It was.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Even has EU video games characters in it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and start wrapping this up now. So the next book is the Hutt Gambit. And so we get to see the Hutts and they're in their gangster glory. And I think, baby, that's one of my favorite one. That's my favorite one in the trilogy, is because we get to see how badass Jabba is and his family. And they're basically how they are in the crime syndicate in the Outer Rim. And I think we also get more story about Han being with his family on Corellia, and more development on that as well. And
Also, it's the only EU novel that features Rick Jewell, who is a Corellian smuggler from the old Marvel comics from the 80s.
Okay. Yes.
That's his only EU appearance, because the Marvel ones aren't EU really.
Yeah.
So he gets a brief mention in the second solo book.
Yeah, and I'm gonna grab something real quick. So Stig, if you want to expand a little bit more on Solo, real quick, Paradise.
Yeah, I can take questions from the chat. So ask me anything.
Now's your time, because I'm gonna grab something real quick.
Okay. So fire away. Ask me Star Wars or whatever. Still waiting for Republic Commando 2. Yep, that would have been cool, Jamie. That would have been very cool if they had done that. But to be honest, LucasArts were struggling quite a bit before, even before Disney took over. They had a couple of duds. I mean, The Force Unleashed 2 wasn't good, in my opinion. It really was. The first one was okay, though. But, yeah.
You guys have any more questions you want to give Stig real quick?
Uh,
Your chance. Fire away.
there was a game in development called Imperial Commando. I did not know that. Let's see. Speeder bike or land speeder? Uh, land speeder. What kind of music is Stig into? Heavy metal and rock and roll. Uh, Manowar is probably my favorite game. Sorry, my favorite band. If I was force sensitive and approached by Jedi or Sith, which way would you go? I am force sensitive.
Okay, so Jedi or Sith?
Jedi.
Okay. All right.
With
So
a,
I'm gonna.
with a Sith girlfriend.
Okay.
Well, no, sorry, 3 Sith girlfriends.
He's like, I'm gonna get down into technicality. One more from Jamie. The Force Unleashed 2 was glorified DLC.
Yeah, downloadable content.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Used
So I'm
to
gonna
cash grab.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read this interesting facts here, like because this right here, if you guys haven't had a chance to get this basically almost has almost every single novel in a perspective timeline or order. Doesn't have Kenobi because this was put out before Kenobi was brought out, and I think there's a couple more novels or one more novel that's not in here. But not only does it have the quick summary, the characters that are in the books, the worlds that were visited, about the author, all that. It also has like interesting little facts in here. So I'm going to go ahead and read the one for Paradise Snare about Han Solo. Han Solo estimates that Han Solo estimates that he is 19 years old at the start of the story, which would make him 29 at the start of A New Hope, which they covered. Though his age is heavily caveated with an uncertainty, he's not sure when he was born. During a visit to Alderaan, Han sees a pre-recorded transmission from Senator Bail Organa, a dark-haired girl on his lap. This would be his first time Han sets his eyes on his future wife, Leia, who would be 10 years old at the time. Yes, I think I mentioned that in the review without even reading this. I love continuity, so I spot that stuff, So among the host of false identities that Han employs, his Genos Idanian, an anagram of Indiana Jones. Another character made famous by actor Harrison Ford. This identity is particularly appropriate when Han is trying to fence stolen antiques. Very neat, right?
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. So that's what I like about that book right here, the Reader's Companion, the Essential Reader's Companion, because like I said, not only you get like the worlds that they visited, the main characters, the summary, you do get interesting facts or tidbits about how they were planning or what went behind it. Like when I was doing the Legacy of the Force series, I still need to do a fact video on that. Is basically it tells how they came up with Darth Caedus and the name and how they got the fans involved with that. So it's pretty interesting. So, all right. Jamie Van der Horst. There were indeed developing a sequel to RC, but it got nixed in a management change with Battlefront 3 from Pandemic, if I remember correctly. Or was it Radical instead of Pandemic? I wouldn't know. Stig, can you?
I don't know about that.
Okay. I'm pissed about 1313 getting axed. Yeah, and did you see that too? The Underworld 2 for 1313 that was aired. I think I did a video on that as well. So George Lucas was going to go ahead and do a TV series called Underworld based upon 1313. I apologize, OG, in advance if your Luke rants stream with Stig sends me into a rage. Oh, that's okay. So just
I do apologize.
Huh?
I said I do apologize. I was involved in sending him into a rage. I did not mean it.
Well, once again, I'm learning a lot today. You're so welcome. Thank you. And that's the whole purpose of this. I have there's a method to my madness for my channel. Tuesday lore, videos, and then we expand on the lore videos, talk about Star Wars news and anything Star Wars here, and expand on it. And that's what my channel is about, is bringing you the EU, the original lore, compare and contrast between the new and old lore as much as we can, and to my best of my ability, and then discuss Star Wars in general. So thank you guys so much for being here and participating. Let me see here. Underworld was also a comic as well. Was it? Was it?
Yeah, yeah, there
Okay.
was a Star Wars Underworld comic, but I'm not sure if it was related to the planned TV show though.
Yeah, and we'll have to look into that now too as well, because I mean, from seeing what I seen from the video, I'm pretty sure like the clips from the development that George was doing, I'm sure that you could probably piece it together if possible. Let's see here. Underworld was also a Star Wars comic. Oh yeah, we already read that one. Yeah, let's see here. I think the game company still wants to develop the Darth Maul game, so here's hoping. So how many Darth Maul fans do we have out there? I'm not necessarily one. What do you think, Stig?
I don't care if they make a game like that because it's going to be Disney canon. So no
Mhm.
thanks.
Okay.
I don't even care if the game is fantastic. It's still Disney canon, and I simply can't get an interest for it.
Yeah.
You know? So, but if others buy it and like it, and I hope it's the best game ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to play it.
Yeah, and like I said, you guys have like you, Stig, you have every right to stand where you are with the lore, just like
Yeah,
anybody else does. So I mean, we're not here trying to bash or make everybody feel bad if there's something like about Disney Star Wars. That's not the purpose. It's comparing and contrasting and basically talking about the original lore as well.
yeah,
And
exactly. I'm just I can't get any interest for it. That's just the way it is. But if others get it and they love it, great.
yeah. All right, Mason, not a huge Darth Maul fan. He's cool, but he's been brought back too much. Also, Stig speaks truth. Anything Disney canon, no matter what, no matter how good, is subpar. And like I said, you have every right to think that way and choose what you want to explore and expand on with the lore. And I think Maul served his purpose for Obi-Wan in the Phantom Menace, and it should have stayed that way, because it helps set up the story for Kenobi training Anakin and becoming a Jedi Knight. And
Christopher Barker is saying to me and Jamie that the EU is the Satan of gaming. What? I'm not sure what he means, but I like the way he put it.
Is the Satan of gaming. Okay, you're going to have to expand on that a little bit more. I'm curious. OG Star Wars and Stig, have you read Tag and Binks? We're here.
Yes, they joined the Empire, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's a comic.
Mm-hmm.
I read it a long time ago.
Yeah, and that's one thing that anti-EU people use against, oh well, it doesn't make sense, there's no continuity, look at Tag and Binks, or look at the Force sensitive droid. That is what if stories, though. That's not canon. That's just something that's to say, okay, this is an alternate universe and this is what if kind of scenarios. So yeah.
No, Ivan, the EU does not ruin the games the way Disney ruins films, because KOTOR and the Dark Forces games and the Jedi Knight games were all EU. It was all based on the EU, and those games were great. Oh, EA. He means EA. Yes. Yes, you're right.
Okay. I was like, because I was going to get into the timeline part of that and expand on what you said about the games. As you play it, the games, even though they're based upon the canon, how you play it may not have occurred with what really happened with the story. So yeah, so I was going to get into that whole spiel, but it's EA. Okay, yeah, I agree.
Well, both of them meant EA actually.
Okay.
So yeah, EA is Satan. Yeah, you're probably right.
I know we're like confused. Like, can you expand on that then? I thought there's some kind of cleverness that they were coming up with. Oh,
Yeah, I was confused because speaking highly of the EU just moments earlier, and then the EU is Satan. I'm like, what?
You're like, what's going on here? So we have the Grandmaster himself, Luke Skywalker, in here, and he just looks like he's just arriving as we're getting ready to close things down. Thank you for dropping in. We did talk about Paradise Snare, the Han Solo trilogy, book 1. And so the next book will be, like I said, the Hut Gambit. And so, like I said, pick up the book if you haven't read it. You do have time if you, I mean, considering, or go ahead and get the Audible if you really don't have that much time. At least you'll get an, you'll still get what the plot is and what's going on and stuff like that. Some little tiny details you may not get that the book provides because it is abridged. But yeah, the next book is the Hut Gambit. And it's, I like the series according to Han Solo. Stig, he probably doesn't favor as much as I do, but that's fine. We all like and dislike our own things. And so again, this right here, this is the whole trilogy in itself for the Han Solo trilogy, and you can get the individual books as well.
I had never seen that book before you showed it.
Yeah.
Never heard of it, never seen it, but awesome though. It's
Look at that. I don't even really want to just open it. This I will not mark in. I promise you, Stig. I won't mark in this one.
good.
He gets mad at me because I annotate.
Yeah, she writes in her EU books. She draws
Yes,
lines.
I do. Look at that.
Yeah, that's a travesty.
No, it's not. It's okay because I am a big nerd when it comes to continuity and stuff. So I will mark and like even reference in the book where this is tied to other books or other part of the EU. So yes, I am. This is blasphemy, I guess, according to Stig. So I'm bad.
It's like drawing elephants in the Bible or something.
Well, I'm not that of that faith. So yeah. All right, OG, why couldn't Lucasfilm release new Legend books? Does Lucasfilm hate us? That
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah. They coined it Legend because they wanted to give it its own timeline, just throw it to the side for a clean slate to have their own creative freedom. And we already know the creative freedom approach that they chose. So like I said, again, and so I'm going to close with this, is that go ahead and visit Twin Suns, get involved with them as well. They led the campaign for the billboards that were put up near and around Lucasfilm headquarters. And basically what we're asking for is the continue of Legends or the continue of original lore. Asking, hopefully, if this ever fruitions, to have the same authors like Troy and all them expand on the books, release the novels that were in production during the time of the acquisition. And then hopefully, if that ever fruitions, that Leland Shee would oversee this project to keep it how it has been, how it was developed, so that's the plan here, is alternate timelines or parallel universes. This goes with the EU, goes well with the movies as it was meant to be, as it was developed, as we've seen it developing from the past. So hopefully we can get that back. So please visit Twin Suns. Please, visit, like follow me, follow Ryan, Lethal Lightning, Matt Wilkins, all of us. We have, our own lore channels that expands on the EU, the original lore, as much as possible, and get involved in the community, and share. And any questions on where to begin to read books, we are here to help you as well. And that's what our channels, especially mine and Matt Wilkins and a few others, that's what they're about, is to continue the Star Wars lore that we know and love. So, and that was kind of winded, but thank you so much. So, great stream, OG Star Wars, to Kenobi and chat. I choose Legends. Yes. So Stig, do you want to close out and say anything?
No, not really. I had a blast, like, always. Always fun to be on your channel and talk to you and communicate with all the good people in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's all good.
And
goodbye there.
All right, so I'm going to read these last few and then we'll close out. That poor Legends book did nothing but entertain you, OG, and you Mark in it.
Yes, yes, he gets it.
He's
This
teasing.
this this travesty needs to stop. See, off she goes. I used the force again to punish her for writing in the books.
So I just run into the corner there. So,
Yeah, I just
all right.
pushed her off.
Yeah, I know. You guys are bullies.
Yeah,
Okay.
in her defense, she did not drop the book.
I did not drop it
Even
whatsoever.
though she flew across the room into the wall, but she kept the grip on the book.
Yes. All right, Mason, we have the Twin Sons billboards up right now. Yes, hopefully they will get back to work so they can see them. They're being noticed and they are being seen. So just we've been getting a lot of feedback on them. So that's great considering the situation. And there are probably still people working at the offices as well. They they just use the term fan so they don't sound so ridiculous. All right. All right. All right. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to my channel to Coffee Chat. It's every Thursday, 9 a.m. No matter where you are in the world, come and join in, bring your favorite beverage. I have a coffee chat because it's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time where I live at. And so I think it's a great way to just wake up in the morning and discuss, legends and have a good time with you guys as well. So thank you guys again for coming in, and may the force be with you.